We'll welcome them both, Julie T. Wallace and Barry GIBB. Well, welcome back both, because you've been on the show before, but it's good to see you. Barry, where did you get the idea for this new film?
Well, the idea, my friend David English and myself were partners in this whole mess. Came to stay with me about 7 years ago in Miami while I was actually working on the Barbra Streisand album, the Guilty album. And on the way to the studio in his car, which had no floor in it, we were sort of, it's a half-an-hour drive either way.
That's
and
old
there was
David.
Sorry?
That's old David, that's the form, isn't it?
That's David.
Yeah.
On the way to the studio, there was a hurricane forecast on the radio, and the conversation was more or less what would happen if it really did hit, and this was our last day on Earth, you know. So that conversation grew into more or less, wouldn't this be a wonderful idea for a film if we were the two people and it was the last day, or we had 3 months, or we had 2 months, what would we do?
Yeah.
So from that, it became the story for Hawks, slowly but surely.
Yes. It's morbid, though, because the characters are in a cancer ward. It's depressing, surely.
It's not morbid, it's a black comedy.
Yeah.
Like She-Devil.
It's a very fine line, that, isn't it?
Yeah,
But it's not depressing.
No, because it's a brilliant script by Roy Clark.
Yeah.
So.
You didn't find the subject matter off-putting then, as playing the nurse in it?
No, but...
I mean, cancer is still a taboo subject.
No, it mustn't be. We must talk about it. We can't let it be taboo anymore. We've got to talk about it.
Well, that's true. I had two young people on who exemplified that a few months ago. But so you didn't feel that it was hard to play. You didn't feel ill at ease doing it.
I felt very sad sometimes. Yeah. But it's silly. There was a lot of comedy in it, so
yeah,
brought
it's a
you
wonderful
up.
comedy. I mean, there's Sheila Hancock's in it. There's a lot of people in it that are very, very funny, and it's treated with great humor. And I think if it was your last time on Earth, what would you do? You know, would you go out with gloom and doom, or would you make up your mind to have a great time and see it through with a sense of humor and imagine that there may be something better afterwards? You know.
Anybody hear something strange? Was it just the old back playing up?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I wanted to have a look because I want to see you dressed as a nurse. There's lots of people who would like to see you in a uniform. Little clip from Hawks, just featuring Julie T. Wallace. Let's have a look.
What makes you think you're dying?
Your embarrassment with the word, for one thing. Has he got the same?
He's got the same. And please, don't be filling his head with the idea that it's necessarily fatal.
Well, why don't we let him draw his own conclusions when he finds out he's dead?
Why are you determined to take the bleakest view?
You've spoken to the doctor lately.
Right, so, Mr. Lightower, let's have a look at those dressings.
The real Nurse the Screams movie, this is, yeah. Now, I mean, do you think you could cope as a nurse in real life in a similar situation?
No. I mean, they're just so hard-working. I have a sister-in-law who's a nurse, and they are underpaid and everything. They just do such hard work.
Yeah. You have to have a tremendous amount of respect for what they do.
Yeah.
They've got such courage.
If you had that alternative presented to you, or that ultimatum presented to you, what you would do? You know, if you had, say, 3 months to live. I'm sure everybody, if they really thought about, what would you like to do?
Well, having been through 7 years of trying to put this together, I've been asked that a few times, so I sort of know what I would do. I have an incredible family. I have 4 boys, ranging from 3 to 14. I think that I would probably spend every minute that I had with them, and that would be it. And my wife, of course. There's no other answer to that. You know.
I was just thinking about it. I'm sure the audience would have their ideas about what they'd like to do, but I'd love to just go around the world and see everything that I hadn't seen and eat everything I hadn't eaten and drink Bordeaux dry.
Do it all.
Yeah. What about you, Julie? What would you do?
I just like to carry on as I am. Just keep working.
Oh, come on. You'd like to do something loony.
No, I wouldn't. I'm really boring.
Really? You'd be prepared to peter out?
I think something would happen. If you were confronted with it, something would happen. You'd make up your mind about a few things. Yeah.
Yeah. You're devoting all your time to film now, because we've seen you as a pop star Then we saw you as a highly successful producer with Barbara Streisand and Guilty, and with Heartbreak and Dionne Warwick, marvelous LPs. And then you went back to the pop singing, and now you're in the movies.
Yes. Well, I'll always, my first love is to music, and my brothers Maurice and Robin. We're in the studio at Mayfair right now with our co-producer Brian Tench, and for the first time in many years, we're actually making an album with live musicians, which is a revelation to me. Anyway, I love live music, and everybody.
Very hard to find a live musician. Yes, we've got 3 or 4 in here, but I can't speak for the state of health.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of computer music around these
course.
days, and I think it's just tremendously more exciting to be using live musicians. And we have a world tour for next year planned, and the new album will be out in January, so none of that stops, I think.
Is it more difficult to produce films than it is to produce records? It probably is, because you've got a hands-on situation with the records, and
Yeah, I think it takes a little less time to make a record than it does to make a film. I mean, you're talking about 7 years for this film and 15 years for films like Gandhi, and I think I don't have the time, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
So I think it's about the same type of people, the same hard work, but I prefer to make records. In reality, I think I prefer the shorter space of time in the little room. You know.
Do you find the location work glamorous? Do you like the glamorous work? I mean, you obviously love the job, because if you'd only 3 months to live, that's what you want to do. But
Yeah,
I mean,
it's not glamorous. No
it?
way is it glamorous. Up at 5 in the morning for makeup and, you know, sort of eating
tote
on
that
it.
barge.
Waiting around all the time.
And waiting around, that's a big thing.
Yeah, there's nobody in this audience would like to be a film star, would you? No.
But it is
It's a
nice to get
rotten
to be
job.
you get to be on the Wogan show,
But you
don't
get the star treatment, don't you?
Sometimes, yeah, you get limos and stuff. Went to LA recently.
Yeah.
And went in a met at the airport by a big white extended limo, and it was just so funny. I mean, I sort of laughed and thought, is that for me? It was this most enormous thing with a television, a drinks cabinet, you know. Silly.
But you got in and enjoyed it.
I got in, yeah, good time.
What's the T stand for? Julie T.
Therese.
Therese.
Yes.
Do you ever get confused with the other, with Julie Walters?
Yes, I do. When I first started doing She-Devil, publicity, I was called Julie Waters, Juliet Waters, Juliet Wallace, everything.
Yeah. And what about, do you like playing these formidable lady roles? I mean, in Living Daylights, you crushed a man to death between your embonpoint. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you like that kind of role, or would you like to play something glamorous and seductive?
Well, I think, I wouldn't mind if they offer me the roles, but I keep getting formidable roles, but I don't mind.
Well, you're a big, formidable-looking girl, but I mean...
I'm not formidable.
No, you're not formidable, formidable-looking.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you say so.
I choose my words with care, Julie. No, I'm delighted to have you, and you're extremely glamorous and look great. I mean, would you like to act?
Well, the last thing I did was Sergeant Pepper, the film, in which nobody was allowed to speak. So I've really never experienced, actually, the art of pure acting or having to act. People like Alec Guinness who act with their eyes without having to speak. Yeah. It's a tremendous art, and I respect anybody who can really do it. I like being in the background. I like being manipulative. I like having a little bit of control about what's going on. When you're in front of that camera, you're the last person in control, unless you're a tremendous star, you know. That I'm afraid of, because once you've shot your scene, someone else takes it apart and does what they want with it, you know. So that has always put me off.
At the risk of reminding you of something sad, the last time you were here with your brothers, Andy was with you as well.
Yeah.
He's since, has he been an enormous loss to you?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously it's very difficult during the course of this conversation to talk about what happened to someone close to you, or to Andy in particular. All I can really think of saying at this point is that I love him very much and I miss him very much. And I spent the last 2 years very close with him, and I'm very grateful for that.
Yes. And you got 4 sons of your own?
I do.
Are you a strict father? You're not going to let them be pop singers or anything like that?
My sons can be what they really believe they want to be. I don't have any barriers. I don't have any feelings about show business where, you know, my sons or my kids can't do that. They shouldn't be doing that. That's craziness. I think that if your kid has a level head and wants to be something badly enough, for instance, you can have what you want if you want it enough. And if my kids want something enough, they should go and get it. Whether it's film star, pop music, banking.
Well, I don't know how your kids are, but I know how I was. as a child. I never knew what I wanted to do, and I still don't. Did you? did you ever know that you wanted to be an actress? Was that all you ever wanted to be?
That's all, and all I want to do now is be an actress. I've got to be in front of the camera or on stage.
Yeah.
Even if you've only 3 months to live?
Yeah, I want to go out like Tommy Cooper on the stage and bow out, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's the way
My
to
brother
go.
Andy learnt to fly
Yeah.
3 months before it happened to him. So there's a person who simply wanted to do something and went and did it. So it's a perfect example.
Well, it's good to see both of you. Thank you for joining us. We wish
Thank you,
Hawks the very best.
Thank you.